Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is TamezTech and welcome to a brand new video. Today we are checking out a crazy pick in the Go Battle League. Shout out to Homeslice Henry for the recommendation. We were kind of fiddling around on stream trying to figure out what to run. I really wanted to run a grass type because I feel like the meta is just really disrespecting grass types, and I was about to run Superior. HSH came into the stream and said, you know what, I think Superior is kind of bad, you should try this one out. And lo and behold, we went incredibly well with this Pokemon. We climbed over 200 elo in 6 sets. We went about 20 and 10. So since we got so many wins, I'm not really going to showcase too many losses today, maybe 1 or 2. We just have so many wins to go through, and I know this video is already going to be a little bit too long, so I don't want to drag it out too much here. But yeah, let's go ahead and check out this team. We are running normal Gator, non-Shadow Gator in the lead. If you guys have seen Homeslice Henry's brand new video, he kind of talks about how normal Gator is a really interesting pick in this meta. It can tank a lot more, it has a lot of flexibility, and he is definitely right. He was using it as a safe swap. I chose to use it in the lead, and it gave me really good results. I'm using Shadow Scizor as my safe swap, trying to bait out those Talonflames. I know it's not great to run into a Talonflame as a Shadow Scizor, but you're almost always going to be able to get to a Night Slash just to chip it out, and Gator can really clean that thing up, so you don't have to worry about Shadow Talonflame or regular Talonflame in the back too much at all. And of course we have Meowscarada in the very back. This Pokemon is absolutely insane. The pacing is pretty decent, but the damage it can output is just phenomenal. So let's get right into these battles right away. Let's not waste any more time and check these out. On to the first battle here. We see Azumarill in the lead, and honestly, we have played into this thing with our entire team. So I'm going to farm up to 7, throw my Hydro, and this is an ABB line, right? We're ABB weak into fire, so I do make the catch here. I pivot into my Scizor. I want to make sure that if there's something that is really strong in fire, I bait it out, and what do you know? They bring in a Talonflame right away. We are seeing this work exactly how it is intended to work. Talonflame gets their 2 Incinerates. Azumarill actually undercharges to play rough because they know that they want more farm with Talon. But we can bring in Gator. We did have a little bit of residual energy from that Azumarill matchup, and honestly this is playing out absolutely perfectly. We could throw our Hydros on good timing, we can force these shields, we still have even shields, and we know Gator wins this matchup even with that little residual energy they have. So I'm just gonna let this fly go, farm down with Meowscarada. We got rid of the hard counter, and I have a feeling this trainer's not gonna have a counter to this Pokemon, and what do you know, they bring in Diggersby. Diggersby's not gonna like this super effective Frenzy Plant. Oh my god, that does like 75-80% of their HP. They throw the Fire Punch. We're able to farm down. We know Azumarill is completely dry because we caught in the beginning of the game, and that is GG for game 1. Absolutely insane performance by this cat. Very cool. On to the next battle. We see Stunfisk in the lead. Honestly, we have played into this thing with our entire team, but I'm just going to throw this Hydro. If they shield, I will shield myself. And I think I'm going to pivot on the next, right? Because again, this is an ABB line, so we have to bait something out if possible. We know Scizor can survive one of these moves pretty comfortably, so no matter, you know, if they want to throw this, that's totally fine by me. I'm going to keep over farming because I'm expecting them to swap out, and they do. They actually bring in their own Scizor, which honestly is really good to bait out. Meowscarada has no fast move pressure into this thing, so if we can get shields fully down here, I think we're in a good spot. I'm going to bring in Gator, and I have a feeling that I should just let this go. I feel like Meowscarada could sweep, but I'm a little bit scared of a fire type in the back. I actually throw my Hydro here, which is definitely a misplay. I should be saving all this energy, bringing in Meowscarada right away, and they have Togekiss back here. Honestly, this is very scary. I misplayed this game, but look at this Frenzy Plant, bro. Oh my god. And my opponent, on top of it all, they miscount. They don't know Meowscarada's counts. You get to Night Slash on 4 leafages instead of 5 after you throw a Frenzy. So absolutely insane. Very tricky lead in the next game. We see a Dartrix, and I'm just going to bring in Scizor. For some reason, my opponent throws right away here. I know this is a Seed Bomb. This is going to do less damage than the Pex we're doing, so I don't mind tanking that. They bring in Drapion, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and force swap here, right? I feel like this Scizor has a lot of play into their team, and if they bring back in the Dartrix, we might be able to get to back-to-back Night Slashes, right? So let's bring in the Scizor. We're just gonna throw this move right here, and if they don't throw instantly, we will be able to get to another Night Slash. They actually catch on a Dedenne, which is a really good play. But I have a really decent answer to this. I have a feeling right now though that I have to go for a farm down, so I'm gonna throw this Frenzy on the Cacti, and if they shield, then I'm gonna be able to like more properly align myself. Unfortunately, they do bait us here, so we have to throw this Night Slash a little bit earlier than usual. But that Dartrix is going to have to throw energy if they want to knock us out. And what do you know? People just don't know Meowscarada's counts. So we're able to get to this Night Slash and just knock out this thing. 3-ball flex on our opponent, and that's a GG. On to the next battle here, we see Togekiss on the lead. Definitely not an ideal lead here, but we know Gator, non-Shadow Gator is particularly tanky, so we can tank a move here, throw our Hydro, and if they want to shield this, be my guest, I'm just going to swap into my Scizor, whether they like it or not. We land a Bullet Punch there, and honestly, that Togekiss is basically out of the game. They bring in a Gastro, we can force a shield really easily with Trailblaze, and we should be able to get to another Trailblaze. My opponent thinks that last Mud Slap will knock out, but it does not. So we get both shields down. We're able to bring in Meowscarada. We should be able to tank a move and shield a move. So we're going to do just that. And if we see Togekiss comes in, we just instantly throw the Night Slash. Just like here. We get rid of Togekiss immediately. We know they can get to a move. And we get the boost here. I mean, I'm sorry, opponent. But it was probably double ground. And that's a GG with that boost. Okay, insanely awful core breaker in the next game. We see Charjabug in the lead. This is so bad. We are so weak to this Pokemon, especially in the lead. So I'm going to bring in my Scizor after throwing one Shadow Claw with my Gator. Hopefully I can get a little bit of an energy lead if possible. I'm able to force a shield with Night Slash, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I'm just going to call it here. Scizor has done a little bit of work. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to show up my entire line at this point, but hopefully we can put in some work here. I throw this Night Slash and the Cacti as late as I can. Hopefully this knocks out. Charjabug hangs on with 1 HP. I guess I should have thrown the Frenzy Plant just to guarantee the knockout there. But yeah, very unlucky for us there. They have a Dusclops in the back, and honestly, this is very scary. Ice Punch is going to knock me out. I have to make a catch here. We boost, and I feel like that makes my opponent think that we're going to stay in guaranteed, and we don't. We swap out. They have Greninja in the back. We know this is a bad matchup for Gator, but Greninja is so squishy that we're going to be able to get to 2 Hydros unless they throw all of their energy, right? So let's see what this Greninja wants to do. All right, they do throw the back-to-back Night Slashes here, but now this Greninja's dry. I should be able to farm him down all the way here, and that Dusclops is dry, baby. So we should be able to outpace to the double Night Slash. Once again, Meowscarada just going absolutely insane on people's backlines. I just can't believe it, dude. This Pokemon is actually genuinely really good. On to the next battle here, we see non-Shadow Marowak in the lead, and honestly, this is a really decent lead. Once again, if you did watch Homeslice Henry's video, you should know that non-Shadow Gator actually beats Shadow Marowak in the 2s because you can survive all the Mud Slaps. And non-Shadow Gator has a really decent matchup into non-Shadow Marowak. So you know what? I'm just going to force both shields here. I don't mind this farm down. I can come in with Meowscarada here and get an insane amount of damage and energy, right? I am a little bit scared though. If it is a Bastion in the back, I would like to keep my shields if possible. So I'm going to Cacti on this Night Slash, make sure I keep a shield. And what do you know? It's a Corviknight. I'm going to farm up a little bit right onto when I get the Night Slash, and I know this Corviknight's going to throw instantly, so I'm just going to catch on my Scizor and see if I can put in some work here. I'm just going to throw this Night Slash. I'm sure it's going to do a decent amount of damage. We still can't Night Slash and farm down this Corviknight, unfortunately, but my opponent makes a little bit of a misplay. They bring in Jellicent here. I make a misplay right back by not over farming a whole bunch, but this just gives me the amount of energy that I need to really be able to knock out this Corviknight. So Corviknight comes in, and they're just not going to have the amount of energy they need to outpace us to the back-to-back Night Slashes. So that's going to be a good game to my opponent. They do top left. They see they're writing on the wall like Homeslice Henry says. We all know about that. And that's a good game. On to the next one, we see Corsola in the lead, and that's pretty decent for us. I'm going to throw this Hydro onto this Furret just so I can chip and dip, bring in my Scizor. Not really worried about Furret's energy on Scizor. I'm mostly worried about the fast move pressure, of course. So if I can avoid taking that and get that chip and dip, then we're in a good spot. I'm going to throw this Night Slash right away. If they want to let this go, that's fine by me. I should get to a move into anything they bring in, and they bring in a Galarian Moltres. This is a very scary Pokemon for this team, not going to lie. If you see a Galarian Moltres, it's going to be a tough game for sure. We're going to bring in Feraligatr here, and we should be able to survive a move. Of course, they don't really go for Brave Bird there. Thankfully, we're able to survive enough Sucker Punches to get to a Hydro here and force a shield. And now we're just going to bring in Meowscarada. Hopefully, Meowscarada can go for a 1-shield farm down. I will throw a Night Slash here just to see if I can either force a shield or not. But if I do force a shield, I should just be able to farm all the way down here. My opponent makes a kind of a mistake here. They stay in just to be able to throw this fly. But at this point, I have such an energy lead that this Corsola is completely dry. They never threw a fast move. So I'm going to be able to outpace to the Night Slash plus Frenzy Plant, which is definitely going to KO this Pokemon. And that's going to be one more good game for my opponent. On to the next battle here, we got a Greninja lead, quite a spooky Pokemon, especially in the lead for this team. But we should be able to stay in here. Non-Shadow Gator, very, very decent Pokemon at tanking all these moves here. So them tanking that Hydro, that just tells me, okay, you know what? I have to pivot here. I have to bait something out. We bring in Meowscarada, and they bring in Corviknight. This is really decent. We should still be able to survive an Air Cutter at a really decent pace here, and we get the boost. So now we can actually get a really, really threatening Night Slash into this thing. And I feel like Meowscarada has done so much good work that I am happy to let it go. I can pivot into Gator here, and they're just going to throw their Air Cutter right away so they can pivot back into Greninja. But this move still doesn't knock me out. So I'm going to be able to throw one more Shadow Claw in the move. This Greninja is just going to let this go and get farm on their last Pokemon, which is a little bit scary, but it is a Clodsire, and thankfully, once again, dude, non-Shadow Gator just putting in the work, being able to tank those Poison Stings so we can get to a Hydro. Very, very cool stuff there. We see that this Clodsire is actually on Stone Edge, which is really decent for us because they're not able to bait enough to get a big advantage. I throw the Trailblaze, and my opponent probably thinks I'm going to farm up all the way to a Trailblaze and try to catch, right? So I'm just going to throw this Night Slash right away. I mean, me landing this boosted Night Slash damage, that pretty much wins me the game. So my opponent swaps into Corv. They see that they can't really make another move for a winning play, and they concede the game. On to the next battle, we see Scizor in the lead. These resisted bullet punches are not very threatening, so I'm just going to throw this Hydro right away and see what my opponent wants to do. I'm going to call their bluff. I feel like Scizor's usually always bait here, and they do, so I'm just going to get to the back-to-back Hydros. Catch on Meowscarada. This is a resisted Night Slash. We don't really have to worry about it, and we should be able to outpace to the Night Slash here. Those bullet punches though, holy moly, that thing, we got shredded there. Unfortunately for my opponent though, they bring in a Dedenne, and this is not a bad thing. Honestly, I don't mind getting rid of this Pokemon. I feel like my Scizor has a really big potential to sweep here, especially if they bring in a Dedenne. They probably have a ground type in the bag, and what do you know? My win con at this point is to not go for Trailblaze. I want them to no-shield this move because I know I'm going to be able to get to a second Night Slash, and I have a Hydro Cannon in the back, right? So I want to be able to get that damage, put them into Hydro Cannon range, guarantee that this will knock out, and we actually take this game with both shields still remaining. Very, very cool stuff there. In the next battle, we see a Dugong lead, and once again, we kind of have played into this Pokemon with our entire team. My opponent makes a weird play here though. I know they want to guarantee they win this matchup, but shielding the first Hydro Cannon is such an obvious tell, right? So I'm just going to let my opponent throw their energy here and obviously pivot into my Scizor. They bring in an Annihilape, so I'm just going to throw this Night Slash instantly. I know that I can get to 2, and if I get the boost early, that'd be amazing. We don't get the boost, of course, but I know that I can still get to another Night Slash and knock out this Annihilape. Even though they boosted and we're taking super, super effective counters, apparently, we are able to knock this out, and it is Bastion in the back. So I am very, very happy I saved my Feraligatr. They bring in their Dugong as soon as I bring Feraligatr in, and I'm just going to bring in Meowscarada. I know that I should be able to knock this thing out right away. I don't really want to over farm against this thing because the ice shards are really putting in work, and I don't want this Bastiodon to be able to farm me all the way down before I get to 2 Frenzy Plants. These are debuffed Frenzy Plants, by the way, and look at this. We are still able to about 3-shot this Bastiodon with these Frenzy Plants. We put them in very, very obvious Hydro Cannon range, and this should just be a GG. GG's to my opponent there. Honestly, that play they did at the beginning kind of lost them the game. Just very, very obvious tell that Gator is more well-suited in the back than in the front. Another Scizor lead and another no shield by me. We know Scizors, they love going for Night Slash. This one actually capitalizes on the Hydro Cannon, so that is totally fine by me. I'm going to do the same play again, farm up to the Hydro Cannon here and just catch on Meowscarada. My opponent has the same idea and they swap into an Azumarill, which is honestly very, very good for me. I'm just going to go for 100 energy here, throw the Frenzy Plant, make sure it knocks out all the way. And I have a bunch of energy ready for that Scizor whenever they come in. If I see Scizor coming in, I'm just going to instantly throw this Night Slash, make sure I get a shield or a knockout. Now Scizor is going for a move of their own. You could have argued I should have no shielded here, but I was a little bit scared of what could be in the back. So I want to bank this Frenzy Plant, send in Gator, snipe the Scizor, and see what we have back there. It's a Dusknoir, so my guaranteed win con here is just get a bunch of fast move pressure on Scizor, force him to throw energy early, and now a Frenzy Plant should easily knock out this Pokemon here. And that's going to be a really, really good game for us. Again, man, this Pokemon just putting in an insane amount of work. I'm very, very happy with it. We see Clodsire in the lead in the next match, and honestly, very, very good for us. I love Gator into Clodsire. It's very, very comfortable. I know that since we are the non-Shadow Gator, we are more incentivized to no shield, so we actually shield predicting them to Earthquake. I make a little bit of a misplay here. I stay in with my Gator a lot here. I was trying to make a catch, which I shouldn't have. I should have at least thrown a move or something. And this is looking a little eerie. We call the bait. So now we're able to farm all the way down, but we're down 2 shields, right? My opponent brings in a Galarian Moltres, and honestly, we're able to get to both Frenzies here, which will threaten pretty close to a knockout. So I'm guessing my opponent is going to want to shield this. We do have quite a bit of energy on Gator here, so I'm just going to bring it right in, throw this Hydro, and pivot into Scizor. I want fast move pressure. I want to force him to throw a move if I can. My opponent makes a misplay here. They Brave Bird, and that just gives me the incentive to throw my move right away. Very good catch by them, but we can easily just undercharge this move, get to another Hydro here, and if my opponent would have flied, they would have actually won this game because they would have more residual energy. But unfortunately for them, they went for the Brave Bird, and that did give us that win con there. Once again, Tricky lead in the next match. We see Greninja again. Very scary Pokemon. This one actually throws right away. They don't let us farm up to 7 and throw. So honestly, a good play. That's definitely the way you want to play it. If they shield this though, I think I might have to pivot. We make another catch on Meowscarada. Really good. And landing that Leafage is going to be really useful for later. My opponent is already down 1 shield, so this is going to be a little bit tricky. They shouldn't really shield this move, but they do. That's a neutral Frenzy Plant trainer. It's going to do a lot less damage than a super effective Hydro Cannon, but I will definitely take it. I can easily just bring back my Gator here, and I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I should sack this, right? I know that I don't survive that Earthquake, but if I have shields on my Shadow Scizor, I might have play. I make a little bit of a misplay here. I'm hoping this Trailblaze will knock out, but it's obviously not enough. Clodsire is extremely tanky, so they are able to pivot right away out of here. They bring in Greninja though, so I know that I can safely overfarm by another 2 here and throw the Night Slash. They boost there, so that boosted Water Shuriken definitely chunks us quite a bit. But now we are triple boosted. We get the Night Slash boost, and Corsola comes in, and I mean, you can say goodbye to it because it's gone. That thing just got obliterated by a triple boosted Night Slash. Very, very delicious move land right there. Another Scizor lead in the next match. I mean, you guys know I love Scizor. It looks like people love Scizor as well, and I can't blame them. I throw a little bit later here. I am a little bit scared of them boosting or not. And we actually got 1 turn lag. So they actually get 6 bullet punches for 5 of our Shadow Claws. they bring in Blastoise, and I'm bringing Meowscarada. I'm just going to full send it, and my opponent lets that go, which is really, really decent for us. You could have argued that I should have no-shielded here because we would have survived the move, and we would have survived the Bullet Punch to get another Night Slash, but oh well. Unfortunately, my opponent gets a farm down now, which is a little bit scary, but I should be able to farm them down with my own Scizor. Once again, we get one turn lag. Another time. I mean, I got one turn lag so many times today. It was actually very, very infuriating. But they have an Azumarill in the back, and the super effective Trailblaze, buddy, it's not going to be great for you. We are able to survive this move, and I'm just going to bank a Night Slash on Scizor and bring in Gator. If I can knock this Azumarill out, I know that Scizor's not going to get to another move even with this farm down, but we're able to actually Shadow Claw them down before they Bullet Punch us down. Again, non-Shadow Gator putting in work. Okay, very interesting game. Watch what happens with my screen. We get like some AI prompt garbage. I hate AI, dude. It is so bad for everybody. It makes us severely undercharged there. And if you notice Florges' health, Florges should be dead at this point. That Hydro Cannon would have put them into 2 Bullet Punch range, and they would have just been knocked out. So we're kind of playing this game on the backseat now. This is going to be really tricky. This Talonflame got quite a bit of energy. We couldn't get a lot of energy because of that weird Florges mishap. And now everything is kind of crumbling down here. I can get a little bit more energy with the Skater. They actually bring in a Gastrodon, and I feel like this is kind of giving me a win con. Maybe if I just go for fast moves here, I'm thinking I have to farm this all the way down if I want to have any play, and I can't. But maybe if I farm this down with Gator, they don't let that Mud Slap, which is really good. My opponent makes a massive misplay bringing in Talonflame, and now we're at the back-to-back Hydros, and thank God we actually still win this game. I gotta say, we should have won this game from the start. It was a very, very easy win, but yeah, that glitch happened or whatnot, and it made it a lot more complicated than it should have been. We see Shadow Kwak in the next lead, and once again, this is not bad. We can 2-shield and kind of run through this Pokemon. I have a feeling they're not going to allow that to happen though, so they might want to pivot or something here, and they do. They bring in Dunsparce. I still want to throw my energy here though. I want to make sure that I can chip and dip and just throw one move with Scizor, make sure this knocks out. And if they want to bring Kwak, that's totally fine by me. They're just going to get one Mud Slap here, so this is going to be totally fine. I could have thrown on a little bit weirder timing there just to make sure I got 2 Bullet Punches into the Dunsparce for energy, and then another 2 into the Kwak to be able to throw another move, but that's totally fine. They actually bait a Bone Club, which is very, very clutch for us because now we can actually shield the Rock Slide, and they have a Corsola in the back. Once again, my win con at this point, I feel like is banking the Night Slash on Meowscarada, forcing the shield with the Hydro here, because I know that this Corsola still doesn't have energy and I can outpace, right? So now that we force the shield, we win cap tie. Thankfully, no 1-turn lag there, and we are able to take another game. Please stick around to the end. We have really, really funny games coming up here. Our opponents are just kind of like, I don't know, maybe confused with what we can do with these Pokemon, and yeah, we see the very, very classic Marowak Forretress core. People that aren't really great at the game run this team, I'm not gonna lie. If you disagree with me, make sure to tell me in the comments, but I feel like I'm right on that one. So we throw a Hydro into the Fortress, we bring in Scizor. Unfortunately, this Night Slash is still not going to knock out, but thankfully, we are still able to get this farm down. Marowak comes in, we can land this Night Slash pretty confidently here, and at this point, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Bastiodon or a Carbink at the back, right? Which is definitely really scary. But I can let this go, and it's actually a Charjabug. This is so bad. I think we just lose, right? Honestly, no shielding the Rock Slide was definitely the move because X's are super effective, but these Volt Switches are still going to farm me all the way down, and this is definitely not good. So I think my opponent thinks though that Meowscarada has been knocked out of the game. So we actually get to this Hydro on Charjabug, we're able to knock them out, and we know they're gonna Mud Slap us down with Marowak, right? But do they know we still have the cat? They don't. They don't know. They let us farm them down and they get knocked out. Opponent, you have to pay attention. You have to keep paying attention until you see that you win screen. Very tragic for them there. We see Wiggly lead in the next match, and honestly, I mean, I'm just going to pivot into my Scizor after landing that Hydro Cannon and the Bullet Punches. That Wigglytuff is practically out of the game. My opponent brings in K-Wack and they always shield, so I'm going to bait, force them to throw energy a little bit earlier, and I'm going to get a sick farm down with Meowscarada here. This is going to be such a good farm down that if Wiggly comes in, I'm just going to be able to throw my move instantly and force their shield or a knockout. So let's see what happens here. They do bring Wiggly. I am just going to Frenzy Plant here because I know that Night Slash is not going to be enough to KO. My opponent does shield it though, and they bring in Gastrodon. Now at this point, my win con is to get a farm down here with my Meowscarada. So I'm actually going to no shield this, and my opponent, very smartly, they undercharge. I don't want to tap here because I don't want to knock this out, but my opponent, once again with the misplays, they let us get to back. Now that I'm at back, what do I need the cat for? I can just knock out the Gastro, knock out the Wiggly, and that's just going to be another good game there. So GG's to my opponent there. Maybe overthinking it a little bit. I'm guilty of doing that myself. On to the next battle here. We see Torterra in the lead, and honestly, very tricky Pokemon to deal with, but these Hydros are still gonna chunk. I'm gonna catch a move on my Meowscarada. I doubt they're really running Stone Edge, which they aren't, so we catch a Sand Tomb. They bring in a Dugong, and I mean, we already took a shield with Hydro, so we take a second one with Frenzy, and we're able to chip with the Night Slash. So we have a really decent matchup here. I'm going to bring in my Gator to tank a move, and then I'm going to bring in my Scizor to shield a move and farm all the way down. And hopefully we can clean up with this Scizor. So obviously this Pokemon, they're more than likely going to bait us here, but that's totally fine. I kind of want to keep as much health as I can. This Torterra is going to Sand Tomb us, so now we're debuffed on both sides. We're debuffed on the defense, we're debuffed on the attack. I'm going to throw 2 Bullet Punches in the move so we don't take that second Mud Slap. And what do you know? It's Carbink in the back, baby. All those debuffs, they didn't matter. Scizor is going to go absolutely crazy against that Carbink, and we're going to be able to take that final game. That was the last game of the day, guys. Once again, I'm so sorry for making these long videos, but man, when I have a lot of fun, when I get a lot of wins, I want to make sure I showcase all of them to you guys. And I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to cut this outro short. You guys already know. Follow me on all my socials. There's a link down in the description below where you can go into my Discord, my Instagram, my Twitch. We stream every single weekday. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, please leave a comment, share it with your friends. Let me know what you guys think. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Thank you so much, and you guys have a good one.